Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Tonight, Finance Minister finally presents first quarter of 2025 budget after weeks of delay which led to a government shutdown at the start of the new year. More from Parliament. On a day non-MPs were cleared from the chamber for MPs to consider emolument for Article 71 office holders. Also tonight, heartbreak for hundreds of traders at Canto as they count their losses running into millions of Ghana cedis after a new fire swept through their shops, leaving them in shock and disbelief.
Inside Misika 600 million, 40 million, 30 million. Millions
of cities have been destroyed. So we are pleading.
Also ahead, CTAG declares strike starting today over government's failure to implement arbitral awards, College of Education's academic calendar to be significantly impacted.
So long as government decides not to pay attention to our issue, then of course the strike will last for that long. Right. Maybe unless Jesus Christ comes in to intervene.
We have more as Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools also warn it cannot guarantee students will be provided food when school reopens tomorrow due to the huge debts government owes them.
But in an instance where schools are unable to feed their students or to buy materials and other things to run the school, if in the event that it's unable to happen, there's nothing, I don't think anybody can blame us for that.
And in business, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison justifies banking sector cleanup, insisting it has made commercial banks strong to withstand shocks.
Stay tuned for details of these and more stories. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. Later in the bulletin, we'll tell you how to relive the 90s magic as the Joy FM's 90s Jam is set to take you back to the golden era of music and memories. Details as some of my colleagues have been sharing their favorite music and what schooling was like during that era. Let's now settle for the details as Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has finally laid before Parliament the budget for the first quarter of 2025 after weeks of delay. The mini-budget was stuck in the middle of a disagreement between the NDC and MPP in Parliament over some outstanding government business, notably some request for tax waivers. Well, government is requesting 68.1 billion cedis to keep the government running until the incoming John Mahama government presents its substantive budget for 2025. And our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, is joining us on the telephone lines. He's been in Parliament throughout the day and is joining us with more. Kweku, was any explanation offered from the point of the ministry for this delay?
Right, Kweku
Asante, can you hear me? Right, we're trying to connect with our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, who is in Parliament right now to speak to us and give us more details about what that presentation of the mini-budget means for government going into the first quarter of the year. Meanwhile, the former MP for Menchia North Collins, Owusu Amankwa, is cautioning a team set up by incoming President John Mahama to recover loot not to allow itself to be used as a tool for witch hunting. The former MP, who is leading a group called Committee for Public Accountability, signaled out Raymond Acha for targeting the CEO of McDan Group, Daniel Macaulay. Collins Owusu Amankwa says he and other Ghanaians will resist any attempt to frustrate indigenous Ghanaian businesses.
We therefore would like to caution Mr. Raymond Acha and his characters to act professionally without any form of biases while serving on the ORA team. Using ORA team to settle personal scores against Mr. Daniel Macaulay, and other business magnates would be fiercely resisted by the leadership of CPA. The leadership of CPA is closely monitoring events and stand ready to defend and protect the interests of Ghanaian citizens, especially the business community, through the avenues including legal actions. The state has the responsibility to support and protect the business community to thrive for the collective benefits of society.
Well, Collins Oswamankwa has also been berating the Ghana Airports Company Limited over its recent dispute with McDan Aviation.
Amount due to be paid is a little over $600,000. So where from the $3 million they claim? You see, why do we feel discomfort and discontent to see our fellow Ghanaian business flourishing? Why are we so wicked to each other? Why do we always want to undermine the very people that we're supposed to support as people? What kind of people are we? What kind of people are we? Because of this, then you shut down the only private terminal, which complements the main terminal. And now we have an all-important event like swearing in of the president-elect. And I'm sure they know. Ghana Airport Company knows that foreign dignitaries are coming. And most of them will come with private jets. Where are they going to park? Where are they going to land? Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Let's head back to Parliament now, where the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, has finally laid before the House the budget for the first quarter of 2025 after weeks of delay. Now, the mini-budget was stuck in the middle of a disagreement between the MPP and NDC in Parliament over some outstanding government business, notably some request for tax waivers. Government is requesting 68.1 billion cedis to keep the government running until the incoming John Mahama government present its substantive budget for 2025. Let's get interactive and speak to our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, who is joining us live from the House of Legislature. Now, Kweku, was any explanation offered from the point of the ministry for this delay?
Well, Ken, none at all so far. The minister himself appeared in the House today. Previously, during the sittings before the Christmas and New Year break, he did not show up at all. But today he was there when the item was called. He rose up, he rose to his seat, and then bowed for that paper to be laid. It wasn't presented like normal budgets are done with reading and all that. It was just presented, and same was referred to the Budget Committee as well as the Finance Committee. As we speak, Parliament has been suspended for close to 3 hours now for the Budget Committee and the Finance Committee to go and consider the estimates and present a report to the House for approval. We expect that the budget estimate will be approved this very evening, because tomorrow is the last day for the 8th Parliament to sit ordinarily, when the President will perform a State of the Nation address. And right after that, normally there is no other business that is done when it comes to that. And so this very evening, we expect that the committees, the two committees that the Speaker of Parliament has tasked to look into these matters regarding the budget, will do so and present same to the House this very evening for consideration and approval.
Right, and we also understand Parliament went into closed session at some point to deliberate on the controversial ex gratia. What are we learning?
Well, yes, this arrangement that has been likened by a section of the public as "you scratch my back, I scratch your back" arrangement, where the executive approved the end of service benefits for Parliament and Parliament approved the end of service benefit for the executive and judiciary, has come up. And it was listed on the other paper today. At some point, as soon as Parliament started sitting, the chamber was cleared of all non-MPs, so journalists, staffers, every other person who is not part of the members of, who is not part of the Parliament in terms of the members, were asked to leave, and the House deliberated on that. As we speak, we have no understanding yet if an agreement has been reached and figures have been approved or not. And I'm sure in the coming days there will either be leaks or we'll be getting information in terms of how much exactly will be the end of service packages for members of Parliament, for the executive and all that. But yes, at some point today, that amount of money were discussed, and MPs were the only persons allowed in the chamber to discuss this. Okay,
we also understand the High Court in Koforidua has granted interim injunction against the swearing in of the MP-elect for Akwatia, Ernest Kumi. Tell us more.
Well, yes, the 8th Parliament will be dissolved on Monday, and at 11 p.m. on Monday, the same day, the 9th Parliament will start getting preparation to be sworn in. It will start with the election of the Speaker. And already, we know there are so many disputed parliamentary elections when it comes to the 2024 election. There are some currently in court, and there are those that have been concluded and gazetted. A lot of them have started filing injunction applications, and the Member of Parliament for the NDC, who lost the election, that is Henry Boati-Adam, contend that he really did not lose the election, and there were certain irregularities that plagued the election, for which reason he has filed an election petition. But he has followed same with an injunction application to the Koforidua High Court, which has been granted for 10 days. That is an interim injunction for 10 days. And the court has granted that Ernest Yakumi should not hold himself out as MP, and Parliament should not swear him in. We expect that in the coming days, all those documents will be served on the Parliament of Ghana. And given the kind of rancor that we saw around the election, we expect that a lot more injunction applications will have to be put before court, and a number of them will be granted. But the first one so far that we know of is the Member of Parliament for Akutia having secured a 10-day injunction against the MP-elect Ernest Yakumi of the NPP.
Kweku Asante is our resident correspondent in Parliament. Thank you very much. Well, let's talk about an inferno that happened, because this evening the hopes and dreams of traders at Canto Market were shattered as a devastating fire reduced their stores to ashes. Now, the blaze, which erupted early Thursday morning, tore through over 100 shops, leaving traders in shock and despair. Canto, renowned for being the largest clothing resale market in West Africa, has seen goods worth millions of Ghana cedis consumed by the flames. My colleague Collins Frimpong, who was present at the scene, joins me in the studio. Collins, you've been interacting with some of the people who were affected by this fire. What have they been telling you as to what started it?
So, according to them, they believe that some people may be behind the situation, and also some also think that it is due to some of the fire cylinders that they have been using in the market. But others, or the Ghana Fire Service, also have been doing their investigations, and this is what DO1 Alex Kenneth told us.
So for the what caused the fire, we are still investigating. When during investigations are done during firefighting, so as we fight fires, we investigate, and so people are pointing to arson. We don't want to rule out arson. It could be a cause. It could be something else. Other information we are gathering is that after the people the market women or the market folks have closed, the people here resort to turning this place into a bar and brothel. So wherever there's bar and brothel, people smoke, and when people smoke, they indiscriminately dispose of these bats, and these bats can fall on anything. So yes, it could be arson, it could be electrical fault, it could again be indiscriminate disposal of these cigarette bats, as you know, even negligence, and the fact that people resort to cooking in the markets is a very worrying situation, because as we were fighting a fire, the explosions kept going off, due to the gas cylinders people had stored inside their stores and shops.
Right, that is the fire service there. We'll hear from them again. But Collins, let's talk about the people who have been affected, most of them with their properties worth thousands of Ghana cedis destroyed. What have they been telling you?
Over hundreds of shops have been destroyed currently at Canto Market, and largely that place is known for resale of clothing. Many of them have been telling Joy News that they've lost huge sums amount of money apart from the products that they have there, and therefore they appeal to government for support.
Kasa na misu because me ya mi kitan yere kitan kola num aha na mi didi nti abane sa adwuma be na me nkoye me nkobokro mi phone so ne mi bibia ase e wo inside mi sika 600 million 40 million 30 million ni nyina me yesa me kofa be me hwe ade no se na e ko no mi di agora mewu
so he says that he has lost over 67,000 Ghana cedis. He attempted to get the money from the shop when he heard that fire, his shop is burning, but he couldn't. So he is pleading with government.
What do you? Unfortunately, this is my two shops. But down here, I have another shop too at the down.
The fire started at 1 o'clock a.m. Since I came here about 33 or 35 years ago, I have never experienced such thing before. But in my mind, I can see that this place needs to be looked at, especially the government, because our electrical are not good. The way people are just sleeping here without any protection. So I'm pleading on all of people that have their things have been burned. Millions of cities have been destroyed here. Millions of cities have been destroyed. So we are pleading for the government, the new elect government that is coming in, to come and assist us. Many of them, the ladies and the women, some of them have been collapsed. They have been rushed to hospital. Some of them have been died. Just.
Right, and member of the Public Relations Unit of the National Fire Service, Alex Kinate, has been telling me that the fire was brought under control at 2 p.m. this afternoon. That is more than 12 hours after it started. He says the service is still investigating what started the fire.
One thing I gathered when I got there or engaged with the people was the fact that in the evenings they turn these marketplaces into into pubs and brothels. You know, so in the evenings after the market women have closed, later in the evenings, some of the guys they turn those places into, and it's not just one pub. It's dotted around, and with these pubs also, people can tend to smoke, and when they smoke, someone might probably not deliberately want to start fire, but in disposing of the butt of the cigarettes, in disposing of the butt of the cigarettes, it can fall on any combustible material and start a fire. Again, there were a lot of gas cookers in the gas cylinders in there, so the gas cylinders could even have been a factor. Again, also indiscriminate burning of refuse. Maybe instead of paying someone to dispose of their refuse, they might decide to burn it, and then it might even spread to somewhere. So the possible causes are a lot. So arson is also a possible cause, but I wouldn't want to base on that alone. It can be one factor, but then again, we are looking at a lot of factors. We marshaled almost all the fire tenders in Accra, with the exception of, I think, Anya and Ajin Kutuk. So even the fire tender from Flagstaff House, the fire tender from Parliament, the fire tender all over was marshaled to the scene, and even to the extent that we had to call on the fire tender from Tema regional headquarters and the only fire tender at Spintex, all were brought in.
It's now time for business, and James Ishen is here with the latest.
Hi, Kenneth. Coming up in business this evening, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison justifies banking sector cleanup, insisting that's made commercial banks strong to withstand shocks. And the Ghana Insurance Association assures of measures for private businesses to insure their properties, despite setbacks with compulsory fire insurance. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, Syntex tanks, Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal. I am James Ishen. Let's settle for the details now. First off, Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Ernest Addison has justified the banking sector cleanup, insisting it has made commercial banks strong to withstand shocks. The governor's remark is coming at a time that some have questioned the impact of this regulatory measure, but the governor disagrees. He has been speaking on PM Express Business Edition, which airs tonight at 9 p.m. on the Joy News channel.
So if you have a system which has become a Ponzi scheme from which people are no longer confident in, then obviously the purpose of having the financial system itself in place is not fulfilled. So it was important that that cleanup took place to allow the banking system to play the role that it's supposed to play in a market economy like ours. Right.
Look, I have this question because some of these institutions that their license withdrawn are still now...
Because they were very badly run. These are shareholders who were taking people's money and using it to run their own businesses. That's not banking. You don't do banking by going to take Kofi and Kwesi's money and use those resources to finance your own business. That's what most of them were doing, right? So when I give you a bank license, I'm giving you a license to take people's money. The money is not yours, right? You're taking money from the public. And there are rules associated with that. But we found a situation in which people were taking the money. They were using the money as if it was their private money.
Dr. Ernest Addison, as the governor of the Bank of Ghana, now to some other stories, and the Ghana Insurance Association have revealed that they have made provisions for privately owned businesses to insure their properties ahead of any unforeseen circumstances. This comes after fire-ravaged second-hand clothing retail market, Canto market, causing huge damage to several shops and properties. Seth Aklasi is the president of the Ghana Insurance Association.
What we can alternatively do is that we create a pool, a certain pool from which there is a certain amount that is dedicated as premium and then a certain amount that will be determined as to whether when there is a disaster like this, then we will definitely get to compensate anyone. But how? How do we fund such a system? Are we going to get government to contribute into that pool? But we are all in this country. We are aware that government, for even their statutory or constitutionally mandated obligations like the District Common Fund, are behind schedule. How are we going to be able to take the fractions and invest them and be able to pay? We are ready to take risks. We take risks and we prepare for them. But something can be done about it. I show the insurance industry is ready to support people in times of disaster.
Seth Aklasi is the president of the Ghana Insurance Association. In a related development, GCB Bank PLC has revealed that it will move to offer insurance to the affected traders. This will, however, affect those that signed up to its value-added package in an insurance product targeted at small and medium-scale customers. Sina Kamagat is the executive head retail banking department at GCB Bank PLC and has been given more details about this initiative.
As a bank that cares for its customer, we launched a product. We called it the value-added package for our customers. And the essence of that product was in anticipation of a day like this, a day where fire can bring their businesses down. And for our customers who signed up for that product, there is some good news on the horizon for them. And that is, we are going to initiate the insurance indemnification process right away. We would make sure that we get them some bit of restitution or support to cushion them. And for our customers who haven't signed up, this is the clearest opportunity for them to continue doing business with us. What they need to do actually is to continue depositing and lodging their funds with us after our close of business. For customers who are able to do average of 50,000, we register them on an insurance for a day like this, and the bank fully covers the premium.
Sina Kamagat is the executive head retail banking department at GCB Bank PLC. Now, there are calls for land administration system challenges to be addressed to attract more foreign investors. Head of Special Project Unit of at the Lands Commission, Dr. Benjamin Quay, says this is also key to supporting local and diaspora businesses to thrive. He spoke to Joy Business at the third edition of the Cuba Diaspora Conversation on Ghana's economy.
I think it's very important because at the end of the day, we want to educate the people so that we don't do the people. Because at the end of the day, if Ghana wants to attract investors into the country, we should make sure that the land administration system is okay. Because land is the base. When they come back to Ghana, they want to build their house, they want to establish business, it's on land. So if they have a good land administration system, then we know then everything will be well for the country. We are aware of the challenges that people face in acquiring land. So that's why we have embarked on what we call educational awareness programs. We've established YouTube channels and where we try to educate the public on the steps they have to take to acquire their land. When there are instances where the aspirants, they come to the office to seek our advice, we give them the appropriate advice. But we also encourage them to go out there to seek advice from the professionals out there, the lawyers, the valuers, the surveyors out there, to help them to go through the process appropriately. And I believe all will be well.
Dr. Benjamin Quay is the head of the special unit at the Lands Commission. That's all for business on Newsnight with me, James Isham. But don't forget to catch the full interview with the governor of the Bank of Ghana on PM Express at exactly 9 p.m. as George Weafe engages him on regulatory issues and other matters. Over to you, Kenneth.
Thank you very much, James. Let's talk education now, because the colleges of education across the country could face another disruption to the academic calendar if government fails to take a drastic action to resolve concerns of CTAG by the 13th of January, as CTAG has declared strike starting today. Now, CTAG is accusing government of failing to implement staff migration and pay compensation for all year-round work as directed by the National Labour Commission Arbitral Award. In a statement, CTAG stated that members of the union shall not, under any circumstance, return to the colleges to undertake any official duties, including teaching and supervision of project work and macro teaching, until the last peswa is paid into their accounts. CTAG President Maxwell Bonu, in an earlier interview, reiterated their resolve not to back down until their concerns are addressed.
My colleagues are not happy with the treatment meted out to them. Government's listless attitude to implementing arbitral awards. They have resolved across the country that come 13th January, they are not going to the classroom to teach. Neither would they also go to the various schools where the level 400 teacher trainees are practicing or having their intention. They are supposed to supervise them. They aren't going to supervise them, and they also not vet their project work. That's the decision that council has taken. We have had over 42 different meetings and still counting. When you go, it has been one promise after another promise, one promise after another promise. And I think we had enough of the promises and enough of the meetings that we have attended. So long as government decides not to pay attention to our issue, then of course the strike will last for that long. Right. Maybe unless Jesus Christ comes in to intervene.
Away from that, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, CHAS, says it cannot guarantee that senior high school students will be provided food by the various schools if the Ghana Education Service goes ahead with the reopening of schools tomorrow. Now, this comes after CHAS appealed to GES to reconsider the reopening of high schools, citing unresolved financial issues, including government's non-payment of perishable foods provided for the students last year. Now, National Secretary of CHAS, Primus Barrow, says there will be no food for the students when they return to school tomorrow.
Well, if Ghana Education Service is saying that school is going to reopen, we've never had any argument about who has the power to reopen schools. Our stance is that if schools are going to be reopened tomorrow, and as of today, schools have not been given money and food, we still have the view that the students can come. We are not going to lock any dormitory or prevent any student from coming, but in an instance where schools are unable to feed their students or to buy materials and other things to run the school, if in the event that it's unable to happen, there's nothing, I don't think anybody can blame us for that. So they have the money. Yes, if they say schools will open, we don't have any problem. We don't have any qualms with that. We've never argued with them on that. But our stance, the issues that we have raised per our letter are still valid and are still in force.
And when was the last time you heard from government concerning these issues?
I cannot remember as far as this is. Because remember that before this particular letter that we issued on the 31st, we had issued 3 previous letters. The most immediate one before this last one was on the 20th of December. We have another one that was issued around September, 18th November, and an earlier one was issued on the 12th of August.
Well, meanwhile, educationist Kofi Asare has called for a consensus to be reached between the interested parties so the students do not bear the brunt of not being fed while in school.
He suggests they do.
I think that the GES, I think that the Ministry of Education will have to speak to them. Being silent on the matter and not having a jaw or some level of compromises with CHAS is not part of the solution. Again, CHAS doesn't determine whether schools will open or not. That's the mandate of the GES. But the reality is that if some schools do not have resources to take care of the food stuff that the schools are supposed to buy, and then it means that sending students there obviously might be a counterproductive activity. For me, on the issue of the debt, that is why I believe that conversations can be had for us to have a relaxed, something more relaxed, so that we know how much government can pay in the medium term or in the long term. But in terms of the submission by CHAS that some schools do not have money or food in terms of consumables, I think that that discussion between CHAS and the Ministry of Education must happen so that such schools can be identified, and then the necessary consumables required funds can be sent to church immediately so that we don't have a situation where parents send their awards to school tomorrow and then they are back.
Also, Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee, Dr. Clement Park, says Charles has not officially brought the matter to the attention of the committee. He, however, expressed concern of the dire consequences ahead.
As a committee, we have not received an official communication or complaint from Charles with regards to this very worrisome development. Albeit, we are all aware of what is going on. We have seen letters written by Charles to the ministry advising that the GES and the ministry should consider postponing the scheduled reopening of our secondary schools slated for tomorrow. And to hear from you suggesting that the Ghana Education Service has indicated that the reopening is going to go ahead as planned, which obviously is at variance to what Charles has advised, should give us reason to worry. So what we can do is to monitor and see what is going to happen, but safe to put on record that the situation, as we are all witnessing, as it's unfolding, goes to the fundamental issue of the outgoing Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led NPP government's inability to meet its obligations.
Well, away from education, family gatherings are not a common sight in Kumasi, but the Love FM Family Party in the Park changed that narrative for the new year 2025. The city's largest outdoor event uniquely provided a platform for thousands of families to come together, creating a rare opportunity for communal joy and bonding in Kumasi. Clinton Yabua has more in this report.
The beautiful atmosphere, coupled with finely trimmed grasses and trees at the Ratri Park, was enough motivation for families to come together to eat, drink and chat heartily. The children were perhaps the most excited as they participated in dancing competitions, face painting, bouncy castles, electric trains, swimming, among other activities. The old folks were attracted to live band performances for their listening pleasure and relation. Is Love FM's way of bringing families together.
Looking at the ending of the year, looking at the election year, like a whole lot of things going up and down, academics, graduating for KNUST. It's a good time to bond with the family. Looking at entering the new year, the first day of the new year, it's a good time to bond with the family.
If you go to the playground, you have so much that you can do there. You have bouncy castle, you have the slide. I've done all them. I'm even tired, but I still want to go home.
I don't think there've been years I've missed this program. I've been here every single day that they do this program, and I really enjoy it.
In an unexpected twist, the Ghana Police Service joined the festivities, adding to the excitement while still in uniform, enhancing the festive atmosphere.
That out. We want the children to be part of policing in Ghana. That is why when you see us here this morning, it was based upon the instruction of the Inspector General of Police that we should also add this side attraction so that the kids who will be here will also see the police as friendly.
The 2025 edition saw overwhelming numbers. Host of Ofie Kwanzo on Nshua FM, Kingsley Odamia Mwako, who hosted the adult corner of the event, says the upward numbers are a confirmation of maximum satisfaction.
My name is Clinton Yabua, reporting for Joy News.
Well, thank you very much, Clinton, for that report. Well, schooling in the 90s must have been the most memorable moment for many who danced to the music of Daddy Lumba, Kodwenchi, Sonny Bali, Book Bag, Obrafour, Tic Tac, and many others during the Friday night entertainment at the boarding house. Well, if you were in the university, you probably also enjoyed music from the likes of Tupac, Naughty by Nature, Notorious B.I.G., and more. Well, it is time to relive those moments with the Joy FM 90s Jam, scheduled to take place tomorrow, Friday, the 3rd of January 2025, at the Pleasure Gardens at Jolu at 8 p.m. Ahead of the event, some of my colleagues have been sharing their favorite 90s music and what schooling was like during that era. And here is the General Manager of Sales and Customer Service at the Multimedia Group, David Max Fuga, who has been providing details on security arrangement for the event.
Enough security personnel, both the Ghana Police Service and private security, to make sure that life and property is protected from Friday to Saturday morning. In fact, till the last person leaves. They'll be here till the last person leaves. So we are making sure that we are lighting up the place. We are deploying enough security personnel, police and private security, to make sure that life and property is protected here.
Well, we can now listen to the co-host of the Super Morning Show, Raymond Dakwa, who has been sharing some rap skills that he remembers back in the 90s.
Walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I take a look at my life and I realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been... Even my mama... Maybe treated like a punk. And how you walk it.
Wow, Raymond could not complete that rap. But anyway, that's it for this night, or for News Night. My name is Kenneth Gyasi. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Bye for now.